Hey, this is Cyazon. This is Pacific Empire's Behind the Banger for my new track, Vanish. Yeah, so in 2015, I would say I started to get more immersed into production through like watching Xilent Twitch streams and like getting into that scene with like the dubstep and just making the music for that for my own artist self, I would say. And then before that, I started getting into like raves and like this was probably like 2012, between 2012 and 2015, I would say, just really like falling in love with like the music, I would say.
Yeah. And do you have a love of kind of the aesthetic and the culture behind, cyberpunk and that kind of futuristic look as well?
Definitely, yeah. A lot of the inspiration from that came from the Blade Runner 2049 movie and the Tron Legacy movie as well. That definitely had an influence on the visual branding of Cyazon for sure, because it helped like the storyline of like Cyazon and like the whole branding and everything is me in a futuristic place trying to discover like what my purpose is in that place. And then it's kind of like a mysterious like figure, so to speak, when I do start to play like live shows too. That will definitely be a cool aspect of it as well, I think. So I would say it was in 2014 or 2015 I had started combining like space star names and then just like scrambling the letters of them. That's kind of like how that started. And then like over the years, like the vision of Cyazon and everything and how I wanted to, where I wanted to take it kind of like started to be more solidified.
Tell me a little bit about what inspired Vanish and where Vanish came from.
Yeah, Vanish originally started as a remix project for another artist, and it just didn't work out, unfortunately. But I made it into my own original track with completely original intro and drops. Because originally the remix started, I took the drops from the remix and then I put it into this original and just redid the whole intro and breakdowns and everything like that. Because I think the remix was in a different key than Vanish is now, so I think I had to switch the like keys of like all the samples and all of the audio pretty much, and that was probably the most challenging part, is making sure all of that fit nicely, nothing sounded off or anything like that.
Now let's jump into the breakdown of Vanish, and hopefully you can share some of your a little behind the scenes action for how it came to be.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, so we will start at the intro. I'm probably just going to end up soloing a bunch of elements within this track since the CPU is already at 100%. So, with frozen elements too. So, all right, so we'll start with this. That's kind of like a distorted, well, first off, I have a bit crusher on this, like down sweep sound. Add some mid-side OTT to bring it out a little bit more, and some EQ as well. And then we have this stuttery pad thing as well. Kind of following like the rhythm of the intro. And then we have the same thing kind of. And then we have this pad. Kind of like the harmony. And then we have like these little reverb glitch sounds. So there's that. Then we have this sound, like this lower synth reverb sound. And that's pretty much the intro, aside from just some percussion, loops and fills. So kind of like that stuff, background textures. And then for the breakdown, there's an impact there. Yeah, so it's pretty much just this custom impact from a long time ago that I made. I don't know where it came from, but I think I layered a bunch of impacts on top of each other, and that's how that sound, orchestral impact sound, came to be. And I just used some OTT to bring it out, transient shaper to make the attack of the initial hit of it louder, and then I also had layered it with a sub impact too. I also have this texture like underneath it, kind of like, not like vinyl, but kind of like glitchy ambient, or whatever you want to call it. Next, we'll go into the build-up, and I'm going to go over the arpeggio and the lead synth later as well. And yeah. So these risers, there's 5 risers. There's this bass riser, which is pretty much just a bass patch from the drop. And then there's this glitch riser, which is pretty much just a chorus just to make it more wider, and a frequency shifter to make it pitch up more. And then we have just a sweep. For the rise, and then there's this one too. They obviously don't want to play, but and then we have like a pre-drop sound. It's kind of like a lead, lead riser. And then what else do we have for the riser? The build-up section. Okay, so we have one element I did forget to go over is this Reese for the intro. This is to fill out the bottom end into Spire patch. It's pretty much just saw wave with some detune on it and the low pass filter as well. And yeah, it's pretty much the intro and the build up. We'll go straight into the drop now. Yeah. So this is the drop. Yeah. And it's for I won't try to play it, but here's the first bass sound. Steer back for the downbeat, and here it is. So I'm using a wavetable that I have in Serum with FM into a saw wave and oscillator B. Using alpha 2 to like sweep downwards from the wavetable position, as well as the filter as well. kind of see it swooping down. And then I'm also swooping down on the phaser as well in the FX section. Yep, and then I'm using alpha 1 just to control mix and volume level stuff within the synth. So there's that patch. And then this sound is another serum patch. I have Corpus also making that metallic ringing sound as well. Because without it, it will sound like this. It sounds too dry that way. There you go. And that's like with it on. So for as far as this bass goes, I'm using harmonic series, both wavetables. The wavetable position's at 7 for the first oscillator, second one's at 4. It just gives it more harmonics in between, like the first and third fundamental, I imagine. But yeah, it just makes it more fuller. I'm using a reverb filter too because without it, it will sound. It's kind of like a comb filter, I want to say, but it's not exactly a comb filter because it's using the reverb probably as a source. If that sounds too dry, it kind of brings out more of those higher and mid harmonics as well. So distortion, EQ, phaser, and dimension expander to widen it up a little bit more. And then I'm also FMing oscillator B. I'm FMing the sub to the oscillator B, and the sub is a square wave. And yeah, there's that. And then the third bass is going to be this, the rhythm bass. And then for this, we have the Spectrum Blend A wavetable that I have. And then Alpha 2 just making the rhythm of it different for the wavetable position, the FM, and the filter. And what's interesting too is that the band reject filter, the resonance is all the way up. Without it, it will sound like kind of like more movement. And then oscillator B has a sync saw wave, and that's getting FM to oscillator A as well. And then alpha 1 is going to the drive, the distortion drive, and then the flange filter resonance as well. And then, yeah, it's pretty much that patch. And then this one, this bass is going to be more of like a big crush bass from Contact. I'm not going to try to open this one because it is a CPU intensive. And it's really just a patch, a preset patch within the Contact library too. And all it's really doing is pitch shifting it to adjust the tuning of it, big crushing it, OTTing to bring it out, and then an amp just kind of make it more distortion, then saturator, and that's pretty much it for that. And then that sound, I believe, is a resampled sound that I made from a while back, just like a bass jam. Same with that sound. One more sound in here as well. Just that too. And then we will move on to the second breakdown. It's pretty much the same elements as the first breakdown. Yeah. So finally stopped, I think. And then I can go over this ghost pad. Here we go. There's some background texture for that. Kind of has like some choir-esque vibes in that too. And then, yeah, that's pretty much all it is with that. Same progression with the pad as in the intro. And then there's a synth here too. Kind of like a bridge section, I would say. So there's that. I can probably go over this right now. So it's a Diva patch, and it's this vintage brass preset that I have. Pretty much it's just 2 saw waves, some filter enveloping, amplitude enveloping, and then also like a filter, low pass, I believe, delay, and chorus. Diva in general just has like a nice analog sound, I want to say. Just some filtering, overdrive, OTT, some reverb, reverb. So it's kind of like a longer reverb is the way I like to think of it. And yeah, that's pretty much the breakdown section. And then what I do here is switch up the melody from the synth to the main lead from before, just to give it some more variation. Yeah, let's see what this sounds like. Yeah, so I think this is the same grip build-up as before, for the most part. And then we will go to the second drop, which is the 4 on the floor side trance / hardstyle section. Yeah. Maybe if I just so like a lot of these different sounds are coming from just the automation of the basses through just octave and pitch bending. Yeah, I'll see which ones are different. Yeah, because also this one. So this one sounds like this. It's just like it goes from +12 octave, which is just 1 octave, and then it just goes down to 0. And this one is more, I believe it goes down and then up and down again. And just different FMs for like the, yeah, it's just pushing the octave a little bit more on oscillator A. And then this one just stays consistent too. But yeah, that's that. And then the faster rhythm of the bass is this section right here. I believe that's doing 16th notes, and this is doing 8th notes. That does not want to play, but that's okay. And then this is the third drop we're going into. Same build up as before. I don't think I have to go over that again. because I went over the risers already. This is a new sound. This is kind of a new sound, I want to say. Let's see what this is. Trying to figure out. What's doing is it is pitching down by like, I want to say an octave, and it's like inversely like working with the flange filter. It makes it seem like it's pitching down, but in actuality it's like pitching up too. And part of that's with the filter as well. Yeah, it's low pass. So yeah. And the new bass that comes in here in the third drop is this higher pitched one. Let's see what this is. Yeah, this is a square wave with a high synced saw wave, and it's getting FM'd as well. There's a flange filter on this, and then there's a little bit of distortion through the sine fold in serum. And then we also have trash 2 on this just to give it some more beef, as well as OTT, saturator, and glue compressor. We also have a flanger filter in addition to this. And the main thing that's giving it that ringing sound is like the resonator by kilohertz. And it is, what it's doing is changing the pitch perception. So it starts out at D, and then goes to the C note, and then it goes to the G note, and it goes to the F sharp, which is that kind of like satisfying note. And then it does the same progression, but then it goes to the F5 note. And yeah, and also the last thing, well, 2 more things I want to go over are the super saws in this. That's what gets added later. So. But yeah, I'm gonna probably increase this. And here we go. So this is playing, I want to say, let's see. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's a D minor chord, but with like a 7th, and the 3rd is like omitted. And then it goes down to the one below it, which is a C major, I want to say. And then it goes down to E flat, or actually G minor, and then it goes down to D major. So it's probably, yeah, I was right. Something like that. And then what's giving it that movement is the auto pan, the fluttering like feeling. Hard to play. And then 16th notes for that. And then yeah. That's pretty much all there is for that. And then we'll go over to sub real quick. It's just the way I make my subs is a little bit different now, but what I did for this project is use a round sub and a quarter pulse with an octave up, and then I just low pass it and then add some saturation before it. But I can show you what I do now is if I initialize it, I just choose the FFT add seconds. And then I bring up the wavetable position up to about 5 or below, or 7 below really. And then you just put on your favorite distortion for subs and low pass it. And then 2 more things I want to go over that I said I was going to go over is this arpeggio from the beginning, which is the same patch that I used in Hyperdrive. It's this TAS Firestorm patch in Diva. And I think I just left it as is. And all I did was just put some chorus detuning unison on it. Then bring up midside OTT. And then filter EQ. That's about it. As far as our progression goes, when this decides to load, yeah, it is going up to D4, D5, and then the third, which is F6, and then yeah, it's pretty much following the D minor scale since that's the key of your track. And then this lead synth that I want to go over to is a classic patch that I used to go to and still do sometimes. It's this poly monolith patch that I got from a third-party preset bundle for Diva. And it's really just like square wave, saw wave, filter, some enveloping, chorus and delay on the patch, some fake unison chorus to give it more that detuning feel. Inside OTT to bring it out, EQ, and then soft clipper. And then this last patch is the same thing I think I went over earlier. Yeah, it's the vintage brass. And the melody is pretty much what I wanted it to be. And yeah, it's kind of like majestic feeling as well. Yeah, trying my best to go over this track with you. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time. Thanks.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. You can stream Vanish on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Music, and all of the other streaming platforms. This is Cyazon, signing off.